Hello everyone, this is Moehawkman back again with another free-to-play RuneScape money-making video. So I tested out two methods and I split them into smaller categories and you'll understand why. So the first method that I tested out is picking flax from the farm and then turning them into bowstring without any additional cost. So this method is completely free. You can do this from level 1. And I did this in Birthrow because I believe it is the closest and only flax farm to a bank in free-to-play that I know of. Now this method can make you around 200k an hour if you time your abilities properly, like when you teleport with Surge to dash 10 squares in either north or south direction, and how often the flax disappears on you when you try to click it. Now another little thing that might affect your overall GP per hour is when you use your Surge ability, if you dash into a tree on accident or a fence line or something that blocks your obstacle, that way you don't dash the full 10 squares. So that's something you need to look out for. And for the record, I actually did test out if using the home teleport to the Taverley Lonestone and then running north was faster, and it turns out it's actually slower by about 8 seconds or so. And if you consider adding that over time, it does, lower your GP per hour. So I did do the Surge ability, run north, to the bank, run back south, Surge again, and then just keep doing that over and over again. One last thing to note is that bowstring price actually fluctuates pretty well, usually between 5 and 10 GP on a near daily basis, so you might want to consider that before you sell. A perfect example is in between the first clip and the second clip. You will notice that the bowstring price actually switched between 261 in the first clip and 265 in the second clip, and this was just over a few hours. So you do need to be a little cautious when you sell if you want to go for a higher price or if you want to risk it and it might go lower. That's up to you. Now, the second method that I tested out was actually just buying the flax and then going to Lumber's Castle, because there's actually a spinning wheel and a bank on the second and third floor, respectively. So flax costs around 76 GP each, and the bowstring at the time was 265, so you can make anywhere between 245k to 298k, and I average that out to around 270k because you might misclick, you might get distracted by something, you might get bored, just all the little things can contribute to whether or not you get the highest amount possible, because let's be honest, not everyone concentrates on one thing for an entire hour when you play a video game like this. Now another little thing that you can do to speed up your runs is to do what I did in the clip, which is I right-clicked on the stairs and preset it to run right as I finished it and clicked right away. And I also had a preset in the bank so that I could get a full inventory of flax the instant that I pressed the hotkey. Now, the more efficient you are with pressing these keys will maximize how much bowstring you can make in 1 hour. All I can say is just try to minimize the mistakes so that way you can make as much as possible. Now, the next three methods that I'm going to show you is making incense sticks using willow, maple, and yew logs. So I only included these three in the clips because these are the only ones that actually made me any money. The other ones did not. I actually lost money from each method doing that, so they will not be included in this video, because how can you have a negative money making guide in a money making guide video, right? Now for each of these methods, you will actually notice that the sell price is not what the GE said. So for Willow specifically, it says it's 141, but I INSTA-SOLD at 245. And based on that number alone, I was able to calculate that you make somewhere around 70k an hour, which is pretty bad for money making guides. But you also have to remember that this is one of the only ways that you can actually level up firemaking and actually make money from it. Because the only other way that I know to get firemaking XP is to just throw away the logs into a fire and burn all your money away. Now, it's not the most efficient way of getting firemaking XP, but at least you know you're not throwing away money. At least you know you're actually making money back. You're actually making profit from this. And for the record, you do actually need 30 firemaking, and you have to use 2 logs per incense stick, which doesn't make any sense because incense sticks are small and wood logs are big, so how do you only make 1 out of 2 logs? I don't know. I didn't make the game. I just play it. So last thing, make sure you have a preset when you do this because it's just more efficient that way. Now I would only recommend you do Willow Incense Sticks if you don't have the firemaking level for Maple Incense Sticks, because that requires level 40 and Yew Incense Sticks require 65 Firemaking. Now, Maple Incense Sticks can actually make you a decent amount of money, which is around 130k an hour, because they insta-sold at 300 rather than the 130 that the GE actually says. Maple logs are actually cheaper than willow logs too, so they're actually more cost efficient, and they just overall give you more profit and more XP. And if you don't actually trust my numbers, feel free to test it out yourself in the game, and you will see that I am right. So the overall cost is only like maybe 10k per hour less, but your overall profit is nearly double. You know, would I rather be making 130k versus 70k per hour? I mean, obviously the answer would be, why not just make the higher profit one? Pretty simple question and answer if you ask me. Now you're just going to do the exact same thing that you did with the willow logs. You know, make a preset, right click the bank guy, just have your fingers ready to press the next step. You know, have 1 as your preset, have X or Z or something next to the space bar, and then have your other finger on the space bar, press those 3 buttons, make the next set, and just keep rinse and repeat. It gets kind of boring though, but if you want to maximize your gold while also getting Firemaking XP, this is a pretty decent way to go until you can reach the next tier. Now, if you really don't care about your money or just the logs, just go ahead and burn them in some random brazier thingy, or make a bonfire with other players and get more XP that way. If you want to do that, that's up to you. Now, the last method actually came to a surprise to me, because I didn't expect it to make so much money. So with Yew Incense Sticks, you can make around 315k an hour, even if you consider the 2 logs per incense sticks cost. So the GE price has them listed around 615, but I insta-sold at 650 each, and that's where my numbers came from, because if you make 1,000 in 1 hour and then minus the 344k to 360k per hour cost, you're still making over 300k per hour making these incense sticks. And I was like, wait, what? This is actually a pretty good method. This is even better than the Flax to Bowstring method that I did in the beginning of the clip. I was like, wait, what? How is that even possible? So, you know, I tested a little bit longer and I was like, wow, this is actually still selling and people still want these for some reason. So I don't really know why. It's probably because the incense effect is much better as the higher tiers go, because, you know, obviously the lower tier stuff doesn't give you as much benefits versus the higher tiers. So that's probably why Yew Incense Sticks are worth so much. So if you plan on doing this, you do need 65 Firemaking, but it's definitely worth it if you do plan on making these. Anyways, guys, that's all for me for this money making guide. I do have another one in the works right now, which is killing dragons. So that would be green dragons, blue dragons, and the king black dragon. And I'm kind of running out of ideas, guys, so if you have any more, please post them in the comments down below. Anyways, that's all from me, guys. This has been Moehawkman. Peace out.